Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. We'll take a look at the dollar, 10-year yield, precious metals, and then the companies of the precious metals. And I'll give you my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. Just use it for whatever purposes you want. But this is not supposed to be taken as advice, just an opinion. So here we go. Let's take a look. Here's the dollar index. I redrew this. We've got more data back all the way to the 80s. I said, well, what if we draw it kind of towards the tip of this guy, hit this one, and come on through? And we've broken that to the upside. Now, where do we go next? I still think that there's the possibility that this could go lower. But remember, the dollar index is the strongest amongst currencies. It's a differing between currencies. So as long as other currencies are losing value against the dollar, if they have higher rates of inflation relative to the dollar, that this index could continue to go higher in a very inflationary world, where the safest bets would be, one, if the dollar is increasing, dollar-denominated assets will still catch a bid. And it looks like they're still catching a bid. And if this were to reverse, I would see extra tailwinds behind precious metals and commodities in general. But right now, the dollar has been strong. We have not broken out of this resistance area yet. It's still above it. I still think that there's the opportunity for this to head lower. But we have to watch and see. That is just my opinion. It is not a fact. So, because it's still hanging out here. It is still hanging out here. And what I mean by why I think it's going to go lower is the market conditions, the inflation, the increasing interest rates, that will spark movement of money. The TNX, this is the 10-year yield. Again, we've got it's a small down day. Looks like a green day. This is still a bloody nose. Depends where the bleeding occurs. If it's high on the candlestick, it's called the bloody nose. If it's lower, you can say it's another orifice. I don't know. You can make up whatever you want. But the 10-year yield does look like it's breaking to the upside here. Is this a new shift to increasing interest rates? It sure looks like it to me. A very strong move there. Now, gold heading lower today, down $36. Wow, we're coming back to this support line, potentially of 1910-ish, somewhere in that range. It looks like we had a little bit of a sell-off. Now, we'll see if this thing breaks. If it breaks lower, we've got other support lines all underneath it. Maybe we go back to this general vicinity of, the mid-1800s. And then we've got silver. Silver, another one that was down today. Our support lines at 2450-ish. No, 2450-ish. We're at 2480 something. So it's right underneath it. We'll see what happens. It is a larger down day today in both of these. These are getting a little bit more momentum to the downside than the buyers. So this is coming on back. But we've got good support underneath both of them. Platinum looks like it's bonsaiing down a little bit lower. There is a lot of momentum behind this move. Is gold sniffing something out? We'll see if it continues lower, if there's something in the system. But this does look like it wants to head lower. This here usually is a good inflation hedge. And if this is diving lower with gold, maybe something's there. And the next thing that I usually look at is copper, but copper's hanging quite strong. So copper's outperforming gold. Usually that means that a commodity bull market's still game on, but usually platinum follows, usually. And platinum's been coming on down with gold. Yeah, said that right. XAU to gold ratio, it's still pulling back a little bit. We hit our head on this resistance line. The big resistance line is this guy going across right here. We are hitting our head on it. It still looks really good from a monthly perspective, though. We're just coming up to a little bit of resistance. There's a lot of resistance here. If we can break out of here and get running, and I think that's going to take gold's participation with it, the mining companies, I think, will outperform in the beginning of this bull market. That's what happened last bull market. The Gold and silver miners did very well in the beginning, and then they really lost steam towards the end of the bull market. And the physical metals actually did better in, say, 08 to 2011. Looking at Aurora Resources, looks like we got some headwinds here, a little bit of a sell-off here. And if we get back down to this area, guys, I am buying more for sure in a lot of these companies. So we are getting a little bit of a pullback. Again, everything still looks good from the perspective of breaking the patterns. We're getting a retest move or a return move, and we could get down here. If we get down there, I'm buying more. Call me greedy. FSM's another one. I've got that arrow still in there. And this, I would say that this bullish engulfing that we were going to go higher no matter what. Like, that is the call. And even if we come back and do a retest, well, we can get another good buying opportunity out of this. SILJ is getting a little bit of a pullback after this kind of large run from 11 to 14, 15 bucks. A little bit of a pullback in GDX. Again, we're still above all of the patterns. Everything's still checking out. We might just get a little bit more of a return move here. MMNGF, this is a exploration company, getting a little bit, it's an up day, but the momentum's heading a little bit lower. Still kind of just moving sideways. Koya Resources is down there. A little bit of a down day today. Still looks fine. We're still above support. Discovery Silver looks like it's just sitting there. Kind of a flat day, 0.07% up. First Majestic Silver getting a little bit of a sell-off. Again, we might get a little bit of a return move before heading higher. That looks the likely case. Newmont, we gapped lower but ended up a little bit higher throughout the day. Still a down day. This is sitting on top of a massive pattern. Mag Silver, another one that is within the pattern. Looks like it's getting a little bit more of a sell-off. We got support right underneath it soon. Yamana Gold, again, it didn't escape the sell-off in the sector. Getting a little bit of a sell-off today. This is a monster move, guys. It's probably going to do a little bit of a return move. Looking at this, you got some good support here at about 530, 525. Impact Silver. It's a small silver company coming on sideways. Aftermath Silver, another one that's within the channel. Well, I can't extend that one. PLG getting a little bit of a pullback today, 5.5%. There's the pullback. Bigger picture view. This is the downtrend line, and maybe we can extend it up like this. Somewhere. I'm looking for a closings. Probably somewhere in there. We could pull back to this area down here. Siboney, Stillwater getting a much better sell-off here. Whenever you see like a move lower, and this looked good. This is a bullish engulfing, but there was no follow-through for the buyers. So it just kind of rolled over. Looking at, there is some support through here, you know, here and here. Some support here. There is some support, you know, through here. So it's we'll see if it cuts through it like a hot sword through butter. But we'll see if it hangs in there. Sandstorm Gold, a little bit of a pullback. We're getting a return move, it looks like, of this breakout of the pattern. So we'll see how that works out. Franco-Nevada, another one that's still inside of its pattern here. And there's that big resistance line up there. EMX, again, hitting our head on some resistance, pulling on back a little bit. Teuton Resources, another one that's at resistance. Wheaton Precious Metals, again, we're at this resistance, that white line there. We're hitting our head up on it. We're trying to break through. It could come back and come back here, guys. I mean, there's nothing preventing it in here. It can move back and forth freely. I mean, there's a little bit of support through in some spots, and I would look at it as a buying opportunity. I think the conditions still exist for a much higher move. Gold Royalty Corporation, heading lower here, getting a little bit more sell-off. This could head lower, getting a little bearish there. MTA looking like it wants to do a return move back to somewhere in this support area. Mavericks Metals, another return move to support line. There we go. Royal Gold's holding on to dear life there. Cisco Go Royalty on its support line right now. Again, that's usually where I like to pick up a little bit. And ATUSF, Altius Minerals Corporation, another one that has broken out and getting a little bit of a return move here in the short term. So that's what I see today. We got a little bit of a pullback. Again, everything's still above its patterns. Everything looks good. And what I would do is I'd use the pullback as a buying opportunity once it starts to turn back around. That's the way that I view it. Market conditions are good. Inflation's good. Housing market is solid in my opinion. I know there's a lot of controversy over the housing market. I got in a little spiel on Twitter with some people going back and forth. And all I got to say is look at the data. Where are the homes? If we're going to have a housing crash, where is the inventory going to come from? That's all I ask. So I still think that the market conditions are good. I think we're solid. I think we are positioned well for these above patterns, or we're still inside patterns at the upper portion, bumping our head against the upper limit. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be bumping on the lower limit. You want to be bumping on the upper limits. So yeah, everything looks fine, guys. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time. It's Finding Value.